What is up, you guys? Peter Carlo here, and every couple of weeks I like to do a serious deep dive into a company that is either newly public or a company that I would probably never invest in myself, but that you guys are consistently and constantly asking about. This week is Roblox. This is one that I never thought that I would invest in, but after doing more and more research, it actually could potentially be added to a long-term portfolio of mine in the future. Now, I like doing these videos. They take a long time to do. I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of just research alone. And one problematic thing, and I guess it's not really that problematic, is that I tend to actually fall in love with a lot of these companies and end up thinking that I will probably end up buying them in the future if they become attractive at the current valuation. I'll cut to the point. I don't really think that Roblox is worth it at the current valuation, but we're going to go over how I look into companies long term. We're going to go over Roblox. We're going to go over the financials, how they make money, how they can scale their business, and what I think is an appropriate price point. Now, as far as fundamental investing and doing fundamental analysis, I'm going to make an entire video series on this channel going in depth into what I look for and how I look for the information on this channel within the next couple of weeks. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you've already been subscribed, well, thank you guys. Thank you for all of the support. So let's get started. Let's minimize my face here so you guys can see what I am seeing, and let's get started. So Roblox is an online gaming platform and game creation system that is developed by Roblox Corporation. It allows the users to program games and play games created by the users on the platform. Now, the two things that I'm going to be going off of today is going to be the registration statement that Roblox had to actually put out for their initial public offering, as well as their investor relations section on their website. So Roblox/overview. I will put all of that down below, plus all the show notes from this video and basically all of my due diligence. So Roblox is a company. They have a platform called Roblox Games, and they make money by having players play on their system and on their platform, and then other players create levels and all these different things. So they essentially are a gaming platform based around kids and young adults. It's extremely easy to download, sign up, start playing, just like any kind of game nowadays. And they have over 150 million users on the platform as of today. And of those 150 million, more than 30 million people are daily active users. Now, in any tech or any gaming, what you really want to look at is your daily active users. And you want to see these grow month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year. Total users is kind of misleading sometimes because the total users you have is not going to bring the company more revenue. What's going to bring the company more revenue is the total daily active users. That's what's most important. So of the 150 million, 30 million are actual daily active users who sign on every single day and play the game. Now, the biggest perk to this game is that you can create your own game, or you can play games that other people have built for you, which is really cool. Now, in order to do that, you have to actually use things called Robux, and basically it's Roblox like currency, and you can purchase those games and those levels from other creators. And this is where microtransactions come in. And if you're a gamer or, you understand the gaming industry, microtransactions suck. They really do. But from what I've seen, there isn't a huge paywall behind this. It's not like some other games out there that are built completely around microtransactions and you're unable to even play the game, effectively without those transactions and without, that huge paywall. But to play other people's levels, you do have to purchase those Robux, and you can buy different avatars, skins, game passes, and a ton of different things, which is pretty cool because the developers, essentially other players, can make money for creating other levels, which is something you don't really get to see in a lot of modern games. So the only game I can really think about is like Super Mario Maker 2 on Switch, but you don't get paid to do that. So it's really cool. And of course, they don't get all the money. So let's say that you created a level or you created a world in Roblox. You don't get all of that money. This is where Roblox comes in, and Roblox comes in and takes a cut. So they take about 30% of all revenue that is generated by these developers. So if you get paid $1,000 in Roblox money, then $300 of that is going to end up going to Roblox, and you're only going to keep 70% of it. And this sounds familiar, right, guys? YouTube, the platform that I am on right now and that many people make their money from, they take a piece from their creators. Instead of something like Netflix, where they just kind of oversee the content on their platform and they make all their content. They're in charge of everything that's on the Netflix platform. They do everything in house. The opposite is kind of like YouTube, where they leave everything up to the content creators and they just create the online platform and they take a cut of the currency. So one of the pros of that is that Roblox, doesn't have full creative control, but on the other side of that, they don't have to worry about making content themselves because they have other creators that will do it for them. Now, quickly looking into sustainability of this business, I was really sketched out because it's just one game. The entire company is one game. So imagine that Epic Games, which is one of the biggest, gaming companies right now, if Epic Games was just Fortnite. And that was it. Fortnite alone was the only game that this company really had. And after taking a further look into this, I do think that they could have a sustainable business model, but you have to have Roblox making money from online transactions. And it's one of those things, like, when you look at sustainability from this business, you have to continue to have people creating levels, keeping things fresh, having people continuing to buy, because they're only going to get paid if their creators continue to get paid. You know what I mean? So the developers keep 70% of their revenue, which I don't really think is that blood sucking. We kind of talked about that earlier. I think it's actually kind of fair. And the players get to have a new experience every single day, which is a good thing when it comes to sustainability, because this game, and like many games, will not be sustainable if every single day it's the same thing over and over and over and over. So as far as sustainability is considered, they have to continue to give these creators a platform where they want to continue to create levels, continue to get money, continue to just feel, overall, honestly, to just feel like enthusiastic about what they have to do. Kind of like how YouTubers, we do that. I am always feeling enthusiastic to build our community, to make everything that we do on this channel better, and therefore I will be rewarded for it financially. Now let's look at the financials. So if you guys go and you check out the registration form that they did, put out when they started, they only have the first 9 months for September 2019, September 2020 to show the difference. So they have great growth from 2019 to 2020. The problem is with this is that you have to understand we have the Roni, and a lot of people have been home. A lot of people have been working from home, and a lot of kids have been home away from school. So that huge number for 2020, I don't know how long that's going to stay around. I really don't. $588 million in sales. I don't know how that's going to end up being in 2021. We could see that massive number. That's like a 70% jump year over year, but I don't know how long that's going to, be able to sustain itself. Now, their average revenue per daily active user is extremely, extremely low. So remember, we talked earlier about daily active users and how important daily active users is. Well, there's this thing that, there's this metric, I should say, that you have within the gaming community, or even the tech community, such as like a Facebook or an Instagram, which is revenue per daily active user, because daily active users are great, but we need to see how much money those people are spending. And theirs is ridiculously low at 5 cents, which means those 30 million people on average spend 5 cents per day on the game, which at first you might be like, well, that sounds pretty good. I mean, every single day, 5 cents, average 30 million, it's pretty good. But when you look at something like Pokemon Go, which, they were massive 3-4 years ago, right now people are still spending 20 cents a day. So that's a quarter of something like Pokemon Go, and they don't even stack up that well next to like Candy Crush, which is one of the second to third biggest mobile games that there are out there right now. So you can see it doesn't, their average revenue per daily active user is not as high as it obviously should be, which goes to show that, number one, they're doing something wrong, because they should have a higher daily active user revenue numbers, or that they just have a huge window to grow that company to get their daily active users to spend more money. Now, there are obvious ways I put that we could combat this, that the company could actually make more money. And the three main ways are simply: one, entice your already there daily active users to spend more money on the platform, such as Pokemon does. So like I said, if they can just focus on the 30 million daily active users that they have now and bring it from like 5 cents a day for their daily active users to 10 cents a day, we could see double in revenue, which is huge. The second thing that they could do is entice their non-daily active users to become daily active users. And then even if they're only spending 5 cents per day per daily active user, you could still double the amount of daily active users from 30 million to 60 million, and then you could double your revenue that way. And the third way would be just bring in more people in general to the platform. So grow from 150 million straight up users to 300 million users. But I think that that's the hardest of the two, because going from 150 million users to 300 million users, I think is a lot harder than taking the daily active users you already have and having them spend more money. It's kind of like YouTube, right? To give you guys some sort of insight as far as my channel is considered, I only have 6,000 subscribers on this channel. However, the true fans I have of myself and of this community, like they are, you guys, like, fuck, number one, I can't say that word, but I love you guys, number one. And number two, you guys will support me through whatever I do. If I release a t-shirt, you guys will buy the t-shirt. If I release, a podcast, you guys will listen to the podcast. So the 1,000 true fans rule, which you've probably heard, is extremely important. If you have 30 million people who are spending money every single day, it's a lot easier to get them to spend a little bit more money every day than it is to take a non-spender and create them into a spender. So let's go over pros and cons, and we're already 12 minutes in, so I know this video is going to be longer than they normally are, but let's just take a look at the pros and cons. So cons for this business is the longevity of the user. We spoke about this earlier. So as we will talk later within the pro section, I think that there is longevity in this platform, but it's not in the user. So you have to think about this. Remember, the target audience is ages 12 to ages like 14, 15. That's around the range. So if you're 12, 13 years old and you're playing Roblox right now, are you going to be playing Roblox when you're 16, 17, 18? Probably not. You're probably going to move on to things like World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Apex Legends, like something like that. You're going to move to a more young adults game as opposed to something like Roblox. The average lifespan user of a Roblox member or user is 23 months. So that means that if you created an account, you normally play it on average for about 2 years and then throw it away, which is not that long. Because you look at something like World of Warcraft, like I know buddies who have been playing World of Warcraft for probably 14, 15, 16 years. You look at something like Overwatch, I've been playing Overwatch for about 5 years. You look at a lot of the games that you might be playing nowadays, you've probably been playing them for a while, or you could continue to see yourself playing them for a while. And this means that as someone moves on from Roblox, the company Roblox has to therefore quickly fill that person's position, which means they constantly have to be cycling users in, because as a child gets older, they have to entice that younger kid to come in and start playing the game. And this means, that Roblox is dependent on a lot of people and a lot of companies, which is another, pro that you could say, but really for me, it's a con, because they rely a lot on their community. So as we spoke about earlier, they don't even make their own content, the developers do. So if there aren't any developers, then there's no content. Without any content, there isn't a business. So as they also rely on their player base and their community and their developers, they rely a lot on Apple and Google. We saw what happened with Fortnite in the Apple Play Store, and about 30-something% of all of their revenue comes from the Apple Store. So if Apple decided tomorrow that they're like, hey, we're going to double the cut that we take on all sales that you make through our store, or you got to kick rocks, Roblox is going to have to be like, okay, sure, like, we're going to have to do that even if they don't want to, because over 30% comes from Apple alone. And the last con, I talked about this earlier, they're just not monetizing the platform enough. They really need to bring that daily active user revenue from 5 cents to 10 cents to 15 cents to 20 cents, and they're not making as much as they should. And so from a business standpoint, that's just not ideal, but they need to find a way to do that without making it one of these, disgusting paywall, pay to play type games. And the pros, solid business model by not having to create their own games and their own content. Some of the biggest companies, look at Google, YouTube is a savage. YouTube is killing it and they don't create their own content. So that's a huge pro. The second pro is it's extremely hot right now and a ton of kids are playing, and it's a social game that allows kids to play with other kids. They get to just stream it, put it on TikTok, put it on Twitter. Games nowadays kind of become viral, right? Not like they were back in the day when we were kids, where you play the game, you tell 2 kids at school, and that's it. Like if you have a pretty big following on, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, and you start playing Roblox, you have 20 kids who want to play Roblox, it's a great way to scale the business. The third thing is they have insane user growth and they have a ton of untapped potential, like we talked about earlier, especially to bring that from 150 million users to 300 million users. And the fourth thing is that free-to-play games have proven sustainability. Look at games like Fortnite, Pokemon Go, Candy Crush, Apex Legends. All of these games are free to play. And a lot of games are actually being made now that are free to play, because then you can pay for it later on through microtransactions. So we know that the free to play model is sustainable at this point. Now, one last thing I want to talk about is the lockup period. And anybody who doesn't know what a lockup period is, it's essentially the date when all of the people who bought into this company, during angel seed rounds, venture capitalist rounds, or banks who, like right before they went public, were able to buy in. This is what a lockup period is. And essentially it means that if you're going to buy into Roblox right now, original investors can't dump their shares as soon as it goes public, because what you have to realize is if you are an early investor in Roblox, you can't just sell whenever you want. When the company's private, you can't just go and sell. So the lockup period is after 180 days. Most of the time we see stocks sell off after their lockup period or into the lockup period, simply because there's going to be a lot more shares out on the market. So we'll kind of see how this goes, which leads to the question of, would I be buying Roblox right now? What is Roblox trading at actually? $71. No, I wouldn't. Right now they have a market cap of $37 billion, and I would need that number down to like $25 to $28 billion to begin to even think about taking a position within this company. But honestly, after doing all this research, I really like them. Like, I actually like the company. I think they have sustainability. I think that there's huge growth potential within this company. And this is kind of one of the problems that I have with, researching these companies for you guys, is that at the end of the day, I really start to like the companies that you guys have me look up. Like, I was not a huge fan of Neo for the longest time, and now I actually really like Neo. But for me, I would need Roblox at about $45 a share minimum, $50 a share minimum, to start even thinking about taking a position. But I do think that there is huge growth potential. And I'm not saying that you can't buy in right now and the stock can't rip, to the high heavens, you make double, triple your money. But what I am saying is, for me personally, the risk is just too high. Guys, thank you so much for everything. These videos take forever to do. It's a ton of research, but it really means the world to me. Like, seriously, thank you guys for everything. We're at almost like 7,000 subscribers. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. If you want to be a part of my private academy, get access to all my trades live as soon as I take them, live stream with me like this every single morning for the first hour of market open, and get access to our 60-hour course library, use the link down below. Use the code Academy90 to start for $10 your first month. Thank you guys for all the support, and I'll see you next time. Peace.